As Pakistan battles its economic woes, the country continues to struggle to strengthen, in fact, barely managing to keep the pretenses of an electoral democracy. Many progressive pro-democracy commentators have been categorizing this power arrangement in Pakistan as a hybrid democracy model, where the powerful military establishment continues to call the shots from behind the curtains of plausible deniability. Welcome to New Wave Global. I'm Marvi Sirmed, your host for Unraveled with Marvi. Joining us is Ambassador Hussain Haqqani, former Pakistani ambassador to the United States, who is currently Director for South and Central Asia at the Hudson Institute. He has authored several influential books, including my favorite one, Pakistan Between Mosque and Military, and Reimagining Pakistan, Transforming a Dysfunctional Nuclear State. Tonight, we'll explore his perspectives on the critical issues pertaining to the civil-military relations and the alleged culpability of the judiciary in Pakistan. Thank you, Ambassador, for joining in.
Pleasure being here, Marvi.
My first question would be, you are a very keen observer of the military, of the political developments, especially in Pakistan. Has the military's influence in power, has it increased in Pakistan in post-Imran years? And if yes, what are the factors that led to it? Is it an unintended consequence of Imran's politics or very much in sync with the designs of the military?
First of all, we must understand that Pakistan is now captive to a national narrative that was built over several decades at the instigation of the Pakistan military. That national narrative made it difficult for Pakistan to have peace with India. It also convinced a lot of people that Pakistan's political class was incompetent and corrupt, and possibly in league with outside powers. It created total dependency on the military in terms of running critical areas of the state. In the process, the military has also carved out a lot of benefits for itself. Pakistan's generals enjoy lucrative post-retirement benefits. They get land, property, etc., which is unusual for militaries in most countries. So now it is a privileged class, as well as a very powerful factor in running of the state. Previously, there was a participation between the military and the civilian bureaucracy. The civilian bureaucracy's role has diminished over the last 2 decades in particular. Now, as far as the Pakistani political class is concerned, they have also been much weaker and much weakened than they used to be. In the past, they at least stood their ground on some issues, but over the years, they have been backing away. The first elected civilian leader was Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. He backed away on the question of religious freedoms when he decided that it would be easier for him to curry favor with the religious extreme by giving in to their demands. Then the elected governments of Benazir Bhutto and Nawaz Sharif alternately made the mistake of joining the military in persecuting the other, or in case of Benazir Bhutto, repaying the favor of having been persecuted. But what that did was it fragmented the civilian political process. Benazir Bhutto and Nawaz Sharif came together in what was known as the Charter for Democracy, and an agreement was reached between them that they could have working relations for the sake of upholding democratic principles. Well, in the process, something else happened. The military was able to bolster the creation of a third party that said plague on both houses, and essentially recruited young people on the slogan that Pakistan of old is not good enough. We need to build a new Pakistan. And a charismatic former cricketer was at the head of this effort, Imran Khan. Imran Khan, when he came to power, declared that he and the military were on the same page. So in some ways, the military leaders had found the ideal civilian partner, somebody who agrees with them on all global issues. When the military wants to stand up to the United States, Imran Khan was there to stand up to the United States. When the military wanted to say that Pakistan is not going to make any sort of develop any relations with India without the resolution of the Kashmir issue, Imran Khan was there. He was hyper-nationalist. He was there to condemn all liberal and democratic forces. However, for various reasons, the military leadership and Imran Khan fell out. And since then, the system has lost the equilibrium that the military had built. So the military has had to intervene more and more. A lot of people who decided that they will support Imran Khan with the military's narrative, but because they thought he was a more charismatic civilian leader who would do good for Pakistan, they have stuck with him instead of switching as they used to when the military used to switch its preference among civilian leaders. So the military is having to use more force. The military is having to battle judges who are still continue to be sympathetic to Imran Khan and his faction. And the military is having to reach out to those whom it has condemned in the past as corrupt and treasonous. And that creates the environment in which Pakistan's politics currently operates. As far as Imran Khan is concerned, he's betting that he can emerge out of this as the civilian leader who defeated the military while not giving up on the hyper-nationalist narrative of the military. That has been tried in the past. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Nawaz Sharif were both people who embraced the military's hyper-nationalism, and yet, as populists tried to confront the military clipped them, clipped their wings. One was executed, the other was exiled, imprisoned, exiled again. So, question is, what is in store for Imran Khan? Knowing the institutional mind, one can say that compromise with Imran Khan is unlikely, at least at the moment. However, because of the fact that many retired military officers, their family members, their younger generation have become so invested in Imran Khan and his politics that they are actually willing to challenge the military leaders themselves, creates many question marks and leaves many options open, which I think will play out as time moves forward.
Yeah, but in your collection, has the military's influence increased as unintended consequence of all of this?
Absolutely. When you challenge the military, you say that you're going to bring about a revolution. You try to topple it from the power sharing arrangement and saying, no, 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 no. The power sharing arrangement benefits the military too much. I want it. And then when you, while being the less desirable of the political alternatives for the military at the moment, position yourself as the only political force in the country, then surely the military's power will increase, not decrease, because they will have to exercise more and more power. They will become less. Look, the Pakistani military likes being liked, but it likes being powerful even more. And so this is the dilemma which Imran Khan did not understand, that his popularity is not something that will scare the military. When on the 9th of May last year, he asked his supporters to take to the streets after being arrested, he thought that this was the beginning of the revolution. The people will come out, they will attack military installations, the military's mid-level generals will say, what's happening? People are turning against us. We are becoming unpopular. Let's give in to Imran Khan. That did not happen. The military is a command institution. It is not going to, this is not the military of one of those countries where a couple of colonels can plot against the one brigadier general they have, or two brigadier generals can get together and get rid of the major general. This is a several 100,000 strong military. The only way it remains together is by maintaining discipline. So while there is a lot of political noise in Pakistan, the reality remains that Imran Khan strengthened the military by being its partner when he was in office, and he has strengthened the military by challenging it in a haphazard and inadequately thought out manner. So he has poisoned the well. People are against the military, angrier. People who used to be pro-military have gone quiet or become more critical of the military. But the fact remains that the military's power has increased, not diminished. And it is now having to intervene in areas where previously it could rely on civilian partners. So we are gradually moving towards a creeping coup in which the military's role in what were civilian domains has become even greater than it was before Imran Khan.
Yeah, but do you think, I mean, I really genuinely want to understand this. Should we blame it all on Imran Khan or the current civilian dispensation or the other political parties, civilians?
It's not about blame, Marvi. It's not about blame. It's about a reality that has existed. It's about chessboard moves made wrong. The civilian politicians, other than Imran Khan, thought that they will cut a deal with the military to pave the way for their inclusion in the political process. Again, they had all been marginalized. And the military has put all its bets on Imran Khan. So they thought, okay, if we come back into the system, there will be greater pluralism. Imran Khan didn't go away as most politicians in the past have done. He fought back, but he fought back in a haphazard manner. I mean, I have never understood what his strategy is. Okay, so he tells everybody in Pakistan, the military is horrible, the military is horrible, the military is horrible. Well, then that would mean that the military was horrible even when they supported Imran Khan. Doesn't that follow? But no, he wants to make an exception. So then he creates a situation in which he will not negotiate with other political parties, but will negotiate the military for his return. Well, that only empowers the military. So I think that there is a lot of blame to go around. Basic point is that the stars were aligned always in favor of the Pakistani military, going back to the 1950s. But the only way you get rid of military intervention in politics in a country with multiple political parties, multiple ethnicities, multiple religious and sectarian groups is when those groups can work out political solutions among themselves. Look, democracy is usually the result of an elite consensus. Everybody agrees that these are the rules and we will all play by these rules. And some people do violate the rules, but then there is a system whereby those people are brought back into line. In Pakistan, that consensus does not exist. So somebody has to be the imposer of decisions. And either those decisions automatically and organically grow out of parliament, out of give and take, out of negotiation, out of occasional judicial debates and discussions, or they are imposed by force. If it's going to be force, then it's not going to be the force of Imran Khan. It will always be the force of the military. As simple as that.
Is there any other way that the other political parties could have behaved in order to minimize the losses to democracy?
Yes, the Pakistani political parties could have, soon after they removed Imran Khan, tried to discuss a way out with Imran Khan about the conduct of future politics. Extend the Charter of Democracy that had been signed by Benazir Bhutto of the Pakistan People's Party and Nawaz Sharif of the Pakistan Muslim League to the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf of Imran Khan. They did not. Instead, they thought that, to frame it more simply, it could have been all political forces together versus the military. And in that, the civilians, other than Imran Khan, could have tried to accommodate Imran Khan more and more. But the problem was Imran Khan is an all or nothing player. He did not want that. So if you remember, the vote of no confidence against him was a legitimate parliamentary move. It's in any country, any democracy, Imran Khan's party did not have absolute majority. There were smaller parties. Those smaller parties withdrew support. from Imran Khan, his government fell. Any other civilian leader would have resigned, sat in opposition. He didn't do that. He came with a new narrative, which on the one hand contributed to his popularity. Pakistanis are, in my opinion, unfairly and unreasonably anti-American. Imran Khan played that card and said, oh, the Americans removed me. Total fabrication, but it made him popular. Then he said there was collusion between the Pakistani military, the opposition, and Imran and the United States and anti-Pakistan forces, whatever they are. And so by saying that, he foreclosed the possibility of collaborating with the other civilians. So in some ways, the civilian politicians, other than Imran Khan, found it very difficult to move ahead with the democratic process. But another option for them would have been to say, okay, we yield to the public. Let's go to the electorate. Whoever wins then comes back into office. But then their fear that Imran Khan would be very vindictive, that he will actually then use his enhanced powers and his collaboration with hardcore elements of the military, use them to suppress us even more. Remember, Imran Khan did use, the civilian opposition did suffer under Imran Khan. He actually made things harsher for them than they should have been. The military was behind them, but in some cases, even when the military said, let that go, he wouldn't let it go. And so that has created a situation in which they are not prepared to trust Imran Khan. But if there had been a way to find common ground, that would have been the way forward for democracy. That way was not found. And I have a suspicion that nobody wants to find it. People think in the government, in the civilian part of the government, they think that Imran Khan and his populism rose. Remember the sequence. Imran Khan starts out in politics in 1997, gets no seats, a few 100,000 votes. In fact, less votes than, no, sorry, he won fewer votes than many of the other even religious parties. That was 1997. Then in 2002, he wins his own seat with the help of the military and the religious political parties. Then 2008, he boycotts the election. So the first election where he makes his showing is 2013, when the military put its weight behind, and the head of the then head of the ISI actually lobbies for him and asks politicians from other parties to join his party. So from the point of view of the two major political parties, Imran Khan's entire political career and its success was made possible by the military. Now, the military feels that he's an ingrate for not acknowledging that. The other parties feel, this man, he wants a deal with the military. He wants to completely smash us. This is a recipe for fascism. So the doors for democracy have been closed in many, many ways. And unfortunately, in Imran Khan's own populism is a major factor in that.
Yeah, I'll go back to your answer to the first question in this show. During that interjection, you said a very interesting thing, that PTI largely agrees with the military on all global issues. Is it though? I mean, what do you think about, do you think that military and Imran Khan were on the same page when it comes to CPEC or relations with China?
I think so. I mean, I don't think, look, Imran Khan is a maverick. Being a maverick, he does strange things. So, for example, when the military said we have no problem with opening trade with India, and the Economic Committee of the cabinet said we can open trade with India, Imran Khan announced that, yes, trade will be open with India, the government announced. And then 2 days later, when it went to the full cabinet, Imran Khan reversed himself. My sense is that, look, a lot of retired military officers have certain views which are shaped by the military's thinking of the time when they served. The military's thinking has to evolve. It evolves because, after all, it is an institution concerned with national security. To think that it is like a they have no flexibility in their way of thinking or assessment. That is wrong. The same military which in 1958 was very negative towards any communist influence was the military under Ayub Khan that engaged with China and enhanced Pakistan's relations with China because they saw that there are security possibilities here, especially after the 1965 war. Pakistan ended up thinking of close relations with both the US and China are important for our security, etc., etc. So the military is always rethinking or doing some thinking. The retired officers are stuck in their way of thinking at the point where they retired from the military. They think that is the national interest. So a lot of officers who were in Musharraf's cohort are very much with Imran Khan because they think that Musharraf's model was the right model. Close relations with China, close relations with the United States, anti-India, at the same time, anti-major political parties because they're not good enough, and having a hybrid democracy in which the civilians who are in office are much closer to the military's thinking than the others. Those officers are all with Imran Khan. So because of their influence, Imran Khan may occasionally voice reservations about this or that when the military is trying to be flexible on India or is trying to be flexible in relations with the United States or is reviewing or revising commitment to CPEC. Because look, CPEC is based on a Pakistani sentiment rather than on any economic plan. The sentiment is, oh, the Chinese are brothers, they are coming and they're going to build our country, and then that will help us catch up with India, and then that will help us become the hub of the world, etc. If you see the Chinese maps of the maritime Silk Route, or also of the Silk Road as they have conceived it, Pakistan is not a critical feature of it. CPEC is a diversion from it. So all they're doing is helping Pakistan stay afloat to come so that Pakistan does not go under, and India is forced to take Pakistan into account. So 500,000 Indian troops are constantly engaged with Pakistan. So for them, that's a relatively low-cost project. It's not a project to build up Pakistan. It's a project to let some loose cash that they have invested. In return for that, they get very good terms on the loans, etc., etc. Get many of their surplus labor employed in Pakistan. Yeah. That's what the Chinese planned. But the Pakistani imagination of CPEC has been very emotional. And very frankly, there is no conspiracy in the world against CPEC because anybody who understands economics, you're sitting in Washington, D.C., do they think that CPEC is not a good idea? Yes. But are they going to actively plot to end CPEC? No. So all of this is happening in the minds of conspiracy theorists, and Imran Khan is the grandfather of all conspiracy theorists in Pakistan. Every possible conspiracy theory that any Pakistani believes in, Imran Khan believes in as well. And so he occasionally hung on to conspiracy theories that the military leaders thought, nah, that one, not really right. Let's move on. So those were minor irritants. But in the end, the reason why the military and Imran Khan fell out was because the army chief at the time felt that Imran Khan was not the right man for the next term that he hoped he would get, but he didn't get. But also because of his personality, he had alienated almost everyone outside of Pakistan. Pakistanis even today love him. But Americans don't think much of him. Europeans don't think much of him. The Saudis don't think much of him. The Gulf Arab countries don't think much of him. And even the Chinese don't think much of him. Which is why, with all the noise in his favor by Pakistani expatriates, other governments, other global institutions have not really spoken out that much for Imran Khan.
Yeah, but that's another, I mean, the angle that you referred to about CPEC. I mean, I have my own reservations about CPEC. The little I have read about the master plan, which was leaked 4 or 5 years ago. That's quite worrisome. I mean, it's the more than the loans and getting, high-end kind of interest on these loans. It's about the exploitation of the natural resources of Pakistan and getting raw materials for its own, manufacturing power, etc. So a lot of allied issues that are not discussed in Pakistan. But are you saying that these reservations that, for example, Razak Daud once expressed, echoed with, synced with the military's own reservations about
Doesn't
security?
matter. Doesn't matter, Marvi. I think these are look, sometimes what happens is something happens for very simple reasons, and then we start looking for too much detail. Razak Daud may have said something, but did it really matter? In the big picture, did Imran Khan stop anything to do with CPEC? No.
No, that's
So
not the.
he was just, he and his government were just a lot of people who liked television, who liked saying things, and all kinds of things were said. I mean, for example, Imran Khan at one point annoyed the Saudis by saying we are going to, or his foreign minister did, I can't remember who did, but who said, oh yes, we are going to create a new OIC. But was a new OIC created? No. And then did the Saudis eventually, were they told that, oh God, this was a verbal excess, don't worry about it? Yeah. So, I mean, like, I am not going to go and parse into these ways. The big picture remains that Imran Khan has historically represented the narrative about Pakistan, its origins, its destiny, its purpose, its raison d'etre, etc., that the military originally created. To this day, look, he appoints as parliamentary head of his party the grandson of Field Marshal Ayub Khan. And neither the grandson nor he says Ayub Khan did anything wrong. Whereas if it was a matter of civilian supremacy, who actually undermined civilian supremacy and parliamentary supremacy before anybody else? Who paved the way for military intervention? Ayub Khan did. Then at one point, even the son of General Ziaul Haq joined Imran Khan. He didn't stay with him, but he did. Meaning a lot of people who have this, look, Pakistan has two parallel narratives. One is Pakistan was created for whatever reason, but after that, it should have been a parliamentary democracy. And the way for parliamentary democracy to work is to, in a country like Pakistan, is to have a federal system, let all the regions have their autonomy, and work according to the constitution under democratic principles. The other narrative has been, no, Pakistan has a unique purpose in history. It's the citadel of Islam. It was created to make sure that India does not become a global power. It has a destiny, etc. And Kashmir is critical to Pakistan's future, and the military is the mainstay of Pakistan's survival. Having nuclear weapons is important for Pakistan's well-being and progress. And okay, so we have a smaller literacy, lower literacy rate than Bangladesh and India, even though our starting point was similar. We don't have much healthcare. Our human development indicators are poor. None of that matters. The Western notion of human rights doesn't matter. What matters is, quote unquote, our strategic goals and our, quote unquote, strategic destiny. Where Imran Khan and the military are on the same page on all of those things. On which issue do they have a different view?
That's right. I mean, on the bigger picture, the whatever, the
support for the Taliban, thinking of them as the people who would liberate Afghanistan, etc., They're the same things.
Absolutely, that's all the same. I agree. But okay, now from the bigger picture, I'll just narrow down the focus on the military establishment's tactics. How do you compare the tactics of the military establishment to solidify its control over the power arrangement?
The tactics are no different.
How would you compare their tactics during the first democratic government post Musharraf, and then consecutive 3 dispensations? Do you think the tactics have changed, or is the same?
They've become harsher. They have become harsher, and they are having to be harsher because they think that the old method of, like, look, they've had many phases. When Field Marshal Ayub Khan took over in 1958, he co-opted some politicians and banned some politicians from politics. That ban was upheld and everybody stayed banned. So there were people who from 1958 to 1966 just did nothing politically because they were banned from politics. And their ban ended at the end of 66. And that's when they crept back into politics. That was the Ayub Khan model. Ziaul Haq did something similar. He disqualified a lot of people, then he held a non-party election, and then he also tried to co-opt the certain various individuals. Then Prime Minister Muhammad Khan Jinnah created the Muslim League as a kind of a challenge to Ziaul Haq, because Ziaul Haq wanted a non-party system. After Ziaul Haq, we had our first election, and the military thought there will be a balance of power. And a grouping called IGI was created to keep the PPP in check, which was the most popular party at that time. And a lot of things were done, judicial, legal, media manipulation, etc., to keep the two sides more or less equal in size, until the 1990 election, in which Nawaz Sharif and the IGI won much bigger than the military would have liked. And then Nawaz Sharif decided to push back the military. So his wings were clipped. It was always a clip the wings, manage something, do it. Occasional repression, occasional repression using accountability courts, special courts, etc.
Yeah, so coming to the, sorry.
So it's the same formula. In the 1988, in the 2008 to 2013 period, they did not have to use it that much. And then from 2013 to 2018, again, they couldn't use it that much, although some of it. They used it significantly between 2018 and 2022, and they are using it even more now. When the PTI people say, oh, this is the first time repression is this bad, what they are saying is this is the first time repression is this bad against us. Otherwise, other political parties have faced similar or worse repression. The problem is that because of the relative freedoms that emerged in the last few years, people's expectation of what is permissible and where they can push the envelope, that has changed. But in the end, the military has the means to clamp down. It is unfortunate, but that is what it is doing. We've seen other countries like this. If you look at Myanmar, when they held the election, allowed Aung San Suu Kyi to come in, she decided that, okay, I'm going to push the envelope. But at one point, when they felt that no, things have to be brought back into line, they cracked the whip. And what we are seeing in Pakistan, unfortunately, is the cracking of the whip.
Yeah, that's a great way to simplify what, this complex kind of a landscape. But, back in the day, they had to concoct a memo gate. And now they are facing Cyphergate.
Doesn't matter.
That's
the point is that when they thought that look, force is always proportionate to how the problem. So when they thought that they could get away with doing one thing and the other side was willing to back down, they used that much force. My point being that if I have a gun in my pocket, but just by punching you in the face, I can solve the problem. I don't need to take out the gun. But if you stand up again and fight me again, and I punch you again, at some point, I'll take out the gun. And what we are seeing is that is what is happening. It's an escalation of a fight of wills between a former protege and the military. And the military feels that it needs to use more force. So they're using more force with certain individuals, with certain groups. It is not something new. It is a continuation of the same process. The gains of democracy of the last few years have eroded. And they have eroded because of the confrontation between Imran Khan and the military. Because that confrontation has taken center stage. And they don't know what to do with that problem. You cited Memogate. Okay, so the Memogate, Mr. Zardari had an option. Sacrifice a couple of people, distance from them and their stance, public stance for civilian supremacy and democracy, make some compromises. He completed his 5 years, even after Memogate, sacrificed the prime minister. The judiciary took the scalp of Mr. Yusuf Raza Gilani. But Pervez Ashraf, who was also from the same party, became prime minister. So there was room to bargain. What Imran Khan has done is he's made it an either or. He's made it a zero sum. My heart says, good luck to him. If he can win it, why not? But my mind says that in this particular zero sum, the chances that he'll end up with 0 rather than 100 is far greater.
Yeah, but Ambassador, his whatever his tactics has been, Imran Khan's, and we have a lot of room to criticize those tactics. But don't you think they have, for example, during the Memogate case, during the Panama case proceedings against Nawaz Sharif, the NAB cases against Mr. Zardari, President Zardari, and various other politicians, we see the entire judiciary in unison against these civilian leaders, against you, for example. But these cases against Imran Khan, we see a clear divide among the judiciary.
But that's because of the divide within the establishment. Remember, he's the establishment's baby. I was not the establishment's baby at that time in any way. So therefore, it was easier for them to target me. And the judges agreed with the military that, you know what, the guy's a pain in the neck. Let's get rid of him. The difference is that at the moment, there are judges who were members of the PTI. There were judges who ran for elections. And they were made judges for this very reason. It was based on the assumption. So when you have an in-house fights within the family are always much harsher and stronger. When you have a fight with a neighbor, some other neighbor can come and silence you. But the fight that's why domestic violence is so much worse. So what we are seeing, unfortunately, is domestic violence of a political nature, a family divided. But look, Justice Ejazul Hassan, who was very pro-PTI, has been dispensed with. I think there will be other judges whose heads might roll. So yes, they are fighting back. And all I'm saying is they're fighting back because they think they have support in the establishment. Look, on May 9, what did Mr. Imran Khan expect? He really did expect the generals who are in his favor to stand up and tell their army chief to back off. That didn't happen. The judges pushed back. But those judges went. So my point is that the deck is loaded against civilian supremacy and democracy in Pakistan. And I think that by taking it all the way and making it into a... So when Benazir Bhutto accepted power in 1988, after winning the election, a lot of conditions were imposed. And she accepted those conditions. She accepted Ghulam Isa Khan to continue as president, if you remember. She accepted Sahibzada Yaqub Khan as foreign minister. She accepted... People said that she's making a mistake. She should put her foot down, do an either or. I think compromise helps opens doors. Then after that, it's for you to keep the door open. The politicians, the civilian politicians, have never been able to do that. And the establishment knows exactly when to pull that door shut, unfortunately. And people have not been able to come up with a plan to deal with it.
Yeah, so, I mean, which means Imran Khan has not, after all, mutated into an anti-establishment hero. It's just internecine wars between the two factions of establishment. So here comes to my last question, because I'm reminded of by our producer that we have crossed the 30-minute mark. So it is going to be my last question, although I have so many questions and you are so eloquent that it's a great, enriching experience to talk to you. Why do you think the pro-democracy liberal sections in Pakistan, who have been quite aggressively and emotionally standing up when Mr. Nawaz Sharif or People's Party were under attack by the military establishment, they're not standing up with the same gusto again, for Imran Khan?
Well, I think many of us would like to, on the principle that no one should be targeted. everyone's rights. Look, you have to stand up for everyone's rights. And to our best of our ability, many of us do. But the PTI has a particular way of thinking. It's, again, as I said, it's an all or nothing approach. And so they are not very conducive to letting anybody other than themselves. We don't need your help. We don't need your support. And by the way, you are a traitor. And by the way, you are you did this, or you have this point of view, or you. And so therefore, they are no better. I mean, it's an unfortunate parallel, but it's like anybody from the center right or right wing in Europe who supports some of the hardline far right parties always comes to grief, because the far right parties do not like that. Similarly, the far left doesn't like anybody, because those who think that they are bringing about a revolution and they are revolutionary leaders, and in this case, populist revolutionaries, they don't like help from those who have been there on principle for a long time, because those who have been there on principle for a long time also have reservations about them and will occasionally criticize them, whereas they want only adulation for their narcissistic leader.
That's right. Thank you very much, Ambassador. And with that, we come to an end of tonight's episode. We are grateful to Ambassador Haqqani for sharing your valuable insights with us, sir. As always, our goal is to bring you in-depth analysis and perspectives on the most pressing issues of our time. We hope tonight's discussion has provided you with a deeper understanding of the challenges and dynamics at play in Pakistan's political landscape. Stay tuned to New Wave Global for more thought-provoking programming. This is Marvi Sirmed signing off. Until next time, stay informed, stay vigilant, and never stop speaking up for what is right. Good night.